Karessa Fonseca, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Everbalancing and the services that she provides here in El Paso.
Thank you so much for having me, Jules. So I am a certified yoga instructor. I've been certified since 2017. And I love working with this community. I've noticed over the last few years, it's really opened up to the sort of holistic wellness scene. And that's a beautiful thing because there's so many different tools out there. And I feel there's a different tool for every moment, right? And so as far as what I do for our community, I'm, like I mentioned, a yoga facilitator, but it's not, usually when people come, they're like, are you sure this is yoga? I'm like, yeah, it's yoga. I promise it's yoga, but it's not what most people are used to.
Yeah.
In my sort of regular-ish yoga classes, there's a really nice focus on the breath. And really with anything that I do, there's a big focus on the breath because it's very directly linked to your autonomic nervous system, that part of your nervous system that takes care of all the things you never think about. Your heart beats, your food gets digested, your kidney and your liver do their things. So if you know how to work with your breath, you have a really powerful tool at your disposal always to work with your nervous system. And I don't know about you, but life tends to happen at any moment for me.
Yeah. I feel that, yeah.
Right, so you're cruising along and then something happens and you feel that, right? So anytime we feel that, that's the nervous system letting us know I'm a little stressed, right? And so there's techniques that we can engage right in that moment to assist you. Like if you're running late for a meeting, you'll land there more calm if you do a particular breathing technique.
Yeah.
And when we're calm, that means you can engage your thinking mind, right? And so you can arrive to wherever you're going and take care of what you need to do with less of that overwhelm or frustration feeling. So in most of my classes, even just the regular yoga, there's really big focus on breath for that reason. And then beyond that, my niche has sort of developed into this space of working with the body to release unprocessed data and to release emotions that are stuck or even traumas. And I love following people that work strong with somatics. So people like Dr. Peter Levine, Bessel van der Kolk, these kinds of gentlemen have done a lot of research, Western type research, and can now prove that we're holding stuff in these big muscle groups. And so a particular style of breath work that I do activates a neurogenic tremor. A particular style of yoga that I facilitate activates a neurogenic tremor. And so what this neurogenic tremor does is it activates usually first here, but can go through any part of the body. And it's actually the same kind of tremor that a wild animal will go into after they've escaped an attack. So if I'm a bunny and I just got, saved my own life, I'm gonna go find somewhere, I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna breathe through my mouth, and this tremor will activate. And so what it's doing, it's discharging all of those survival strategies that awaken whenever a threat is activated, especially big threats.
Well, I have a question as far as people who would seek your services. So I, for instance, am coming to have a session with you soon because I was like, maybe that's what I need, right? So is there any particular way someone's feeling or certain things they might be going through that they could kind of be like, oh, you know what? That is a service that I might benefit from. Because had I not talked to you before and heard what exactly it was that you did, I probably never would have thought to come see you. But since I know what you do now and I feel like it would benefit me, that's why I'm coming. Is there anything that you think someone could say, yeah, I need to go see her to see if it'll help me with this?
Honestly, everybody, because life impresses upon all of us, right? So that's a very general one. But if we're looking for more specifics, I feel a lot of times, and the holidays just passed, right? And the holidays are very stressful for many people. Have you ever been in those situations where this one little thing happens and it just rocks you?
Yes.
Right? Sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
What I call that is the cup is already full and all it takes is a drop for it to spill over. That would be more on the extreme, right? That's when we've been at whatever has been happening for a while. But that would definitely be one of those. And honestly, other smaller things, because one of the beautiful things about a holistic wellness lifestyle, because that truly is what it ends up being for most people once they get on it, is that it's a proactive type of way to live versus trying to put out fires all the time. And I've lived that life. So things like having difficulty sleeping, things such as being easily overwhelmed or frustrated, having difficulty letting things go, you know, having difficulty in setting healthy boundaries. Now, all of those that I just mentioned, you can also then see somebody like a life coach or a psychologist, right? These kinds of things, it brings a different aspect to that, and it's a necessary aspect. But with all of these situations, one thing that is always true is your body is holding to some stuff. And why I like, this goes back to my anesthetist years, a multimodal approach, which all that means is picking different modalities, different types of tools, all aimed at to address one situation, or right? And so that approach is very beneficial. And so in this situation, then someone could work with me through the body and things of this nature and through the breath, but then I also add into it things with regards to personal development, with regards to self-compassion, with regards to what I was just speaking on, life impresses upon us, and we develop survival strategies. I'm currently contracted by El Paso Behavioral Health, and when I ask them, have the therapist, have the therapist, but I'm just straight up, have the therapist talk to you about fight or flight? Oh yeah, yes miss, miss. Which is your sympathetic nervous system. Have the therapist talk to you about rest and digest? No miss. Well, that's your parasympathetic nervous system, and that's where you want to be, right? And so it's important for us to know that that's there, you know? And so what I find in my work is that we do work with the body, we do work with the breath, but then I also bring these additional components. I'm not a therapist, but just basic foundational things for people to know about how life works. Life impressed upon you, survival strategies occurred, they're now running your life. Wow, most people have never heard that, but that's very empowering, because what that means is it is within your control to be able to undo those things. There's just nobody ever taught us these things, so it's just education and support to assist us to have the tools to get us through that.
Or even upcoming events or anything?
With regards to who I am as a, say, space holder, for people to understand that I will never ask anything of them that I haven't done myself and I wouldn't do even with them in the moment. For them to understand that I've done the work to be able to be vulnerable with them. You know, I was disconnected from my own emotions from a long time. So I feel that so many of the things that would make someone hesitant to go and seek support, I've been that person. And so it is very much impossible for me to judge people. Like, even as I'm speaking it out now, I don't know if you can feel it, but I can feel the tears in my eyes, because that's just who I am. I'm a person that came to serve, and now I realized at what capacity and what that required was for me to live that life, for it to impress so strong upon me that at the age of 36, I had to find a way to live differently. And now that I've learned and done that for myself, I believe everybody's deserving of knowing we can do it differently. Even your personality isn't permanent, you know? And so if you ever come to work with me, for people to know that that's what energy is going to receive you. It's an energy of accepting you exactly as you are. Even if you cannot accept you exactly as you are in this moment, I can, because of the life that I've lived and the work that I've done to be able to reconnect with myself, and everybody's deserving of that. With regards to upcoming events, I don't think I have any scheduled right now, but on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page, you'll always find them there. And a lot of times I collaborate with one of my dear brothers who does sound baths here in El Paso, Cesar Lujan. So a lot of times if you see my events, it'll be in connection with him.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and tell us a little bit about you and your services.
Thank you, Jules. Appreciate you.